So what we're going to do, like my other videos, we're going to have a look at what happened in the most current stats, which are June 2021 in Newmarket. We're going to have a look at what happened a year ago to compare that, and we're going to have a look at May 2021 as well. So if you look at the number of homes sold, 120, and that was across all home types a year ago in Newmarket. I've broken out the May and June numbers a little bit different. The N is new listings coming on the market. The S is sales for the month, which is represented by this number here. And the A is the active listings. So active listings are what didn't sell and carry over into the next month. So if we look at new listings for May, 241, number of sales for the month, 210, and the active is 135. And going into June is 223, 172 for sales, and 118 active. Now, this is consistent with what we're seeing in other markets. I would say that Newmarket still is a very strong market, but we are seeing kind of across the board, with the exception of maybe East Gwillimbury right now, where the new listings are declining, the number of sales for the month are declining, and the active listings are staying fairly strong. So buyers, there is some inventory hanging around out there, so that could present some opportunities. Average sale price across all home types in Newmarket a year ago, 884,000. That climbed to $1,047,000 in May 2021, currently trending at $1,088,000 in Newmarket. Sales to new listings ratio, one of my favorite stats and gauges of the market, tells us that out of the homes coming on the market, what is the percentage that are actually selling? So essentially, it's the absorption rate. So a year ago, when we were into that COVID market, 50% of the homes coming on the market sold. A nice aggressive 87.1 in May, so that would be full-on sellers market. Now, if you're asking what's buyers and what's sellers market, typically 50 to 60% is considered what we would call a balanced market, so supply meets the demand. And if you look at anything sort of under 50, you're into buyer's market. Anything over 60, you're into sellers. So 87.1%, definitely sellers market still. Currently trending at 77.1. So again, still a fairly aggressive market. And if we circle back up, you'll also notice that even though the sales for the month were down, the active listings also declined. So, some of that inventory that had been hanging around from May got eaten up. So again, it's still maintaining a very active market. So 77% is still very, very good for you sellers. Months of inventory remaining tells us that at the current rate of buying, if no other homes came on the market after today, how long would it take to deplete the inventory? So a year ago, 1.8, 0.6 in May, currently trending at 0.7. So again, we are starting to see that as we were looking at these numbers, we are starting to see that market slow just a slight bit in terms of the absorption rate. It is coming down. The months of inventory is coming up. So again, that would show us that that the market is slowing a little bit in Newmarket, just a slight bit. Sale price to list price ratio, 99.4 a year ago, 104.5 in May, and currently trending at 104.6. So homes selling 4.6% over asking on average. Days on market to get a home sold, 16 a year ago, 12 in May, and currently trending at 11. So what does this market mean for buyers and sellers? For buyers right now, depending on what market you're looking in, I'm doing 6 town-specific market update videos a month. Newmarket, East Gwillimbury are still very, very strong markets. Some of the adjacent towns we're not seeing as much activity. And what I would pay attention to buyers right now is this active listing number. So that tells me that there is some inventory hanging around. So either it's possibly overpriced, or it's just not meeting market expectation in terms of what people are seeing. So either way, it's sitting around. So certainly, going through some old listings, might be an option for you. And for sellers, given the numbers here, you're still into a very, very aggressive market. I think you could probably expect to be eating a few dinners out if your house is listed for sale right now. But I would expect some quick activity. But again, sellers, based on what I'm seeing on these numbers here, you're not in a market where you're going to be able to play with pricing. So your pricing has to be very intentional to the market. We're still seeing a lot of houses being, underpriced, which I think is where we're still seeing, this number being promoted here, the over ask number, because the market has been slowing down. So there are a lot of houses being listed where that's the way that that people are trying to draw attention to them, is to underprice them. So anyways, I hope you found this information helpful.